Alright, my name is Brian. On behalf of Ableton Live User Group Manila, I would like to present the new Push 2. So, salamat sa Ableton Germany at napakaswerte namin. Napadalhan nila kami kaagad ng ilang unit ng Push 2. Gusto namin pakita sa inyo yung pinagkaiba niya sa Push 1 sa kung paano kanya tutulungan sa inyong production. Lalo na kung Ableton Live ang gamit mong DAW sa pag-produce mo ng music mo. Yun yung susubukan naming i-cover ngayong araw. Okay, so ang unang-una nyo makikita na malaking pagbabago, yung monitor, for sure. Yung Push 1, medyo parang compared sa Push 2, parang Stone Age na masyado yung Push 1, no? Parang grid form pa siya. Si Push 2, napakaganda na nung display. Actually, nakikita mo na nga rin yung waveform. Right now, may drum rack ako na nakaload sa isang track. So, the layout is very similar. Nandito pa rin yung 4x4 mo na drums. Okay. Ito pa rin yung sequencer mo. Kick drum. Yan. So, parang-pareho no, yung sequencer. Ang pinagkaiba lang, nakikita mo na yung waveform. So, madali mo nang i-adjust yung parameters mo visually. So, kunyari, gusto mong palitan yung start nung sample, yan, nakikita mo na siya. Gusto mong palitan yung tail nung sample, yan, pwede mo na siya i-edit. O, diba? Pak, pak, pak. Okay? Tapos, kung ano mang pad yung pindutin mo for the drums, kunyari, pindutin ko yung snare, nag-update siya. Okay? Ito naman yung snare. Ito yung hi-hat. Okay? Yung napansin ko lang, kunyari, gaya ng karamihan, marami tayong controllers. So, most of the controllers are connected sa isang USB hub. Ngayon, kung napapansin nyo, ano pa siya no? Since bago pa nga siya, both sa Windows and sa Mac, nag-i-install ng display driver yung Push 2. And nag-install din siya ng driver sa USB. So, I have a feeling na kapag naka-route yung Push 2 through a hub, nahihirapan yung display for some reason. Pero speculation naman lang yun, no? Dahil bago pa nga yung product, first-hand experience ko lang yun. Kung rectang nakasaksak yung Push 2 sa computer mo, sa laptop mo, whether Mac or Windows, mabilis yung update nung screen. Pero ngayon, kung napapansin nyo, may konti siyang latency, may konting lag. Yon, saka nag-update yung screen. Pero other than that, the response is still very good. Yung display lang yung medyo laggy. In terms of playing the pads, definitely, mas maganda yung pads ng bagong Push 2. For example, let's go to a bass rack. Yan. And the color. Aside from the pads, the feel of the pads, you can see that the color of the new Push is actually brighter. And with the new updates, Live 9.5, ino-auto color niya yung tracks. So kung ano yung, kunyari, mag-add ako ng bagong track, let's just say, mag-add ako ng bagong instrument, pasok tayo sa operator, lagay tayo ng lead, where the synth lead, yan, just find the synth lead. So mapapansin nyo rin sa, well, this is an update sa Live 9.5, pwede mo nang buksan yung preview, no? So you can preview sounds. Or some of the sounds. Yan. Subukan natin to. Glide lead. So pagka-load yan ng track, binigyan niya kaagad ng color yellowish. Yellow color yung track. So pati yung pads nag-auto-update. Pero dito sa Push 1, blue pa rin. Sa Push 2, pag lumipat ako dun sa bass ko, color, ano ba yan? Gray. Colorblind ako. So, pero nakakatulong siya. Kasi nakikita mo na kung anong track yung piniplay mo. Alright? Yung drum rack ko, blue. talaga yung drum rack ko. Pati yung pads ng drum rack, blue. Sa push 1, pag pupunta ka sa drum rack, parating yellow yung drums. So, maganda yon for track organization in general. So, pag ito, mahilig ako sa gray. Pag alam kong gray yung keys, alam ko na bass siya. Right? Pag pumunta ako sa yellow, alam ko na lead siya. In terms of playability, the pads of the new push definitely better than the old one. No, for some reason it's more touch sensitive. Although both pushes, you can change the sensitivity. Pag dito sa bagong push 2, pasok ka sa setup, yan, may maganda na siyang graph na pinapakita yung paanong sensitivity ang gusto mo dun sa pads. Right? May konting waveform pa siya ron. Yan, so medyo naging lower. Sorry, hindi nyo pala naririnig yung lead. Eto na ulit yung lead. Right? So, pinalitan ko lang yung sensitivity. Sa push 1, meron din, pasok ko sa user. Ayan, meron naman siyang velocity curve. Right? Logarithmic 1, logarithmic 3. Pero, hindi mo na-visualize, no? Yung velocity. Kung anong ginagawa niya dun sa velocity sensitivity ng pads. Pero here, pag pinindot mo yung setup, at least nakikita mo pad sensitivity, pad gain, pad dynamics, right? So, it's very helpful for the user. Alright? And my LED brightness na siya and display brightness, which is a game changer, especially for those who use the push in clubs. And for those who produce, syempre, pag night owl ka, you produce in the evening, baka gusto mo, hinaan yung brightness nung pads, yan, or lakasan, pag nasa club, pati yung display, pwede mong hinaan until wala ka nang makita, okay, or pwede mong lakasan. Yan, so sa display, makikita nyo, napaka-user-friendly na nung information na pinapakita nila per instrument. Okay, for example here, sa lead ko, you can already see the first 6 main parameters that you can change. Common parameters that you can change on the operator synth, no? Yung oscillator A mo, anong klaseng wave bang gusto mo, sine 8-bit, sine saw, right? And the waveform also changes. So binibigyan kanya ng visual cue, 'di ba? You can change the level. And of course, you can always go inside operator and manage all the other parts of operator, your filters. Yan, nakikita mo na yung filter type mo, kung low cut ba or high cut, band pass. Yan, so may visual cues na siya. Yan, low pass. Of course, you turn on the filter frequency. And yan, pinakamagandang update sa bagong live, no? Yung mga bagong filter circuits, 'di ba? Gives you different qualities. Saka yung drive. Ganda nung, actually ang ganda nung bagong analog, what do you call this? Analog emulation of filters dito sa bagong Live 9.5. Yan, maganda yung drive. Diba? Kasi magbabago yung quality per different filter circuit you use. So, ang ganda nung graphical display. Nag-isipan talaga siya. Unlike here sa push 1, yan, meron ka. Sa glide mo, ano nakikita mo? Filter frequency. Well, if you know what you're touching, you get the same effect naman. You know, unlike here, you know, it really helps, no? Especially for the beginner or for the seasoned producer. It's easier. Ako, in all honesty, when I worked with the push 1, I still looked at my computer screen. Pero the first time I touched push 2, kahit sarado ko talaga yung laptop ko, I can start producing because of this great display. Okay? Other than that, most of the other features here on the left side, yung pitch control mo, yung mga undo, simple tasks mo, undo, delete, medyo nalipat dito sa taas. Yung mute solo and stop clip functions mo it works differently now. Unlike here, nandito yung mute solo and stop functions mo. You still have your quantize, your fixed length, your duplicate, your record, and your play. All here on the left side. Yung resolution ng repeat mo is still here. Yan. 30-second triplets, 30-second notes, 16 notes, 16 triplets, etc. It's still here. On the right side. What else? Almost everything is the same over here. Yeah, your octave dito sa push 1 nasa octave up, octave down, octave up siya. Pero dito sa push 2, andito na siya. And like everything else, kunyari, if you go back to your bass, you can, pareho lang sila. You also have the sequencer. The sequencer is the same. So if you notice, this flickers even with the power source on. Flickers, it registers a flicker in the camera. Unlike this one doesn't quite register a flicker. So I don't know if that's good or not, but I guess if you do a lot of light shows on your push, then that probably makes a difference. Okay. The last thing is the meters, the metering. Let's play this loop. If we go into mix control, you already see that push 2 has a very good representation of your metering. It shows your RMS and your peak values. Unlike here, if you go to volume, all you see is the volume levels, but no visual representation of your RMS and your peak. It's just very good visual cues, right? For your set. So let's try and put a bass sequence. Right, so as you can see, it updates. And so as your sends, I'm sending to reverb. If I go back to mix, I get to see the amount of reverb I send to my reverb send to. Oh yeah, and the master out is all the way up here to the right, so you don't accidentally, twist it while trying to automate something here. Alright, usually in push 1, I've experienced that I'm trying to automate a fader here, but I accidentally hold on to the master volume and I twist the master volume. So it's a good thing dito, if you do automation here, the master volume is all the way up here so that you don't mess around with the master volume while doing your live set. Alright, that's push 2. So sana may natutunan kayo. And again, this is Brian from Ableton Live User Group Manila.